Uncensored, no holds barred talk. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is Global Reality Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live edition of the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us. We are here with you on this Tuesday into Wednesday edition of the broadcast, 28th, now going into the 29th. And we've got some news to get into here tonight for you. Not a lot of it, so we'll get into some of that. We'll get into listener emails as well, and if you have any you'd like to send in as well, Global Reality Show at gmail.com. That's Global Reality Show at gmail.com. If you have emails you want to send in, you have anything you want to hear me discuss, anything you want to hear me talk about, that's where you send it in, and I'd be happy to address any of those on the broadcast for you here tonight. It's been a while since we've been here live, and it's a variety of reasons. One is that there hasn't been towards the end of last week there wasn't a lot of material, and I just that and just the fact that we've been on the edge of extinction here for the past couple of weeks financially. And I just hadn't been too happy about it. So that's the honest truth. It's very difficult for me to be able to get up here and do radio shows and stuff when I'm gonna wonder how I'm gonna have a meal that day. So you understand that sometimes that takes precedence over doing a radio show. I hope that never. I want that to never have to happen. It should never have to happen. But unfortunately. That's just the way it is. But but this is our fundraising week, so we have to meet the rest of our chipping goal this week. I literally had 20 cents to my name for like almost a week. That just hurts my work. I can't. I don't have. Then it takes away from my time to, because then I have to go. Okay, well now I have to go sell a piece of equipment or something that we use to make our films with. So it's like a double setback, It's not just a setback of we don't have money for this or that, but then if I have to go sell a piece of equipment that I have to use to make my films with, well then that puts me that's I'm double back then. So that's why I put the little special message thing up there today, because I'm sick of having to worry about this, man. Because we could, I look at all the money I've put into making all of my films up to this point, and I just think, man, if I had the amount that we put into one of those just, in my account, we would be able to operate for, 6 months. We had $5,000 in our bank account. We wouldn't have to worry about bills or anything else for, 4 or 5 months. Who knows? Maybe longer than that. 7, 8, 9 months. Who knows? That's, that's the whole thing. So everything that I just look at everything I've put into these films, and I continue to put into it, and try to do as best as I can to do my part to get the word out about research and the things that I've been on to. Instead of, but it just seems that everybody just wants to take everything I've done and take it as their own and just leave me in the dust to starve and be forgotten about. Well, I'm not going to let that happen. And all you fucking clowns and you trolls and you haters and you people who have attempted to kick me while I'm down, thank you very much over the past month or so, dealing with what I had to deal with the deaths in my family, and then coming and just making shit up about me out of the clear blue sky, attempted to defame me, because you can never challenge my information. All the attacks come on me personally because they never can challenge the information. And they believe that if they get me out of the way, that they'll get a cut of some non-existent pie. That's what's so funny. The same thing happened to me when I was on Oracle. Everybody over there was fucking jealous, trying to find any little thing to nitpick on me about to try and single me out because they thought I was cutting them out of some mythological money pie that never existed. That's what all these clowns that get involved doing these type of radio shows think. The only reason most of these guys get into this is they think there's a ton of money in it. There's no money in it at all. I have thousands of listeners in 30-something countries. Hundreds of thousands of people have seen my movies. It's just, you look at the things that I've accomplished and the things that I've done with the show, and then you look at 20 cents in your bank account, it blows your mind. And I've always taken the Buddhist path on all this stuff. I've never wanted, and I never will want, more than what I need to get my work done. I'm not asking for the $1 million home like Alex Jones does, which is what all these guys want. They want to have the $1 million house like Alex Jones does. The only way you get that is if you suck Satan's cock and sell yourself to them for whatever they'll give it to you for. And boy, his newest piece of propaganda bullshit we'll talk about tonight as well on the show. But that's all I've ever asked for. It's all I've ever wanted. It's all I ever want. Regardless of what happens, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to continue to do this for the people who truly want it to be here. And there's a lot of those out there. So, I don't want the people who actually do support us. I don't want you ever to think I'm talking to you when I say these things. And even people who don't support us, I'm not saying who can't. I'm not saying it to you either. There are people out there who just flat can't give anything because they. But there are a lot of other people out there who can. Many other people out there who I know for a fact can but don't. Look at the money that you just waste junk on a daily basis, man. This is the kind of thing where, if I am going to be able to give you what this show is, and what this show is a reflection of my journey, I have to be able to have money to do that. So again, I'm not asking for, all I'm asking for every month is what we put in that chip and banner amount. That's it. If we get more than that, that's fucking fabulous. But just to get 20 cents in like a week and a half, that's an insult to me. I've done this for free for 4 years, man. I don't sell advertisements. I don't have dick pills and Jugal ads, but by God, it may come to that. Because I'll do anything to keep from sinking. I'll do anything to keep from losing my platform. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to let these fucks win. I've come too far. I've done too much. I've gone too far now. So, heaven forbid it ever does come to that. I'm going to make sure it does. I mean, do my damnedest to make sure it doesn't, but I'm just letting you know I will do it if it's the difference between my show continuing and not continuing. You bet your ass I will sell dick pills. Line up, get them. Peter Patriot, stay hard dick pills. They'll keep you hard, otherwise
you'll go to a fucking FEMA camp.
I mean, straight up, we'll roll Satan in here, let him do advertisements for us.
This is the new water filter from the Global Reality. This motherfucker will filter it through Satan's asshole, giving you the clearest, crystal clearest drinking water in the world. 100% fluoride free through the asshole of Satan.
I mean, yeah, we'll resort to that if we have to. Whatever it takes. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what... I just don't know where people think that any of this is free. They just want you to, they don't give a fuck. They want you to give them their information so they don't have to research themselves. Well, I'll tell you this. I know a hell of a lot more than I ever tell any of you on this radio show. I don't mean that as an insult, but there's just some things I have to keep to myself as far as information. Why? Because you're not ready. Because you're not near ready. And we go pretty far on this show, but the real reality of what we're facing here, most people aren't ready with, but we're starting to get more hints about it every day. And we're going to continue to. If you think for a second, man, though, that this isn't going on in multiple dimensions here, you're just out of your mind. But again, it's our fundraising week. We got to reach our goal on the Chip and banner by Friday, folks. This is a red alert situation. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And we've got to have your support in here to continue this week. And again, this has set us back. This has set us back because, again, that takes time away from me working on my movie. That takes time from me away from doing the radio and getting out information I need to get about that. I mean, shit is getting nuts. Now is not the time for me to be sidetracked because of these stupid financial things. And I don't even have any, it's not like I have debt or credit cards or car payment or any of that. I don't have any of that BS. We have one amount we have to get every month. That's it. That's all I can say about it. Help us out if you can. If you want this to continue, if you want me to continue to do my work, I've got to have your help. And a lot of people did say they were going to help me when I first started this, and a lot of those people have reneged for whatever reason, but I wish them the best. And but some people have stayed right there with me no matter what. And so thank you so much to everybody out there, all of you who really listen to me because you get something from it, not because it's information. And those of you who do get something from it, I hear you. I get your messages and I get your emails, and I know that you guys listen to me for the right reasons, not because you just want to, either steal the things that you think I'm right about, and then commit personal attacks against me for things that you think I'm wrong about. I love that. A lot of these clowns don't think I notice this. They think I'm just oblivious to it. No, I've noticed. There are people out there who outright steal from me and from the research I've done, and then turn around and try to defame me in another breath. And they think that I don't hear back about that kind of stuff, It just boggles my mind. The arrogance of these fucking, internet radio hosts. I mean, we're nothing. We're nobodies. You start thinking you're somebody because you do an internet radio show, you got a serious problem. Global Reality Show at gmail.com. That's Global Reality Show at gmail.com. That's my email address. My website where that Chip and Bama donate button is located at is www.theglobalreality.com. It's www.theglobalreality.com. That's where the broadcast originates from. We've had interesting things happening with space and asteroids and weird space junk and UFOs, all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But I got to talk about this first. This has got to be the downright funniest clip I've seen in a long time. And I don't have the audio pulled up where I can play this for you, but man, this shit is too funny. It's Alex Jones talking about DMT, dimethyltryptamine. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, in this clip, and I think I am going to end up putting this in the film, because in this clip, Jones single-handedly, and I can prove it with pictures. I've already proven it, actually. Go watch. It's up on my website, www.theglobalreality.com. Go to the documentary section. Look under there. There's a movie in there called Reality of Illusion, Part 1, about the pineal gland. A lot of you have seen that video. In that video lies the proof that Alex Jones is a Vatican stooge over what he says here and admits to in this video. He's talking about DMT, and he's saying that he says that the elite, listen to this, the Bilderbergers jack DMT into their veins at the Bilderberg group meetings. Out of the clear blue fucking sky. I mean, no evidence to back. Yeah, David Rockefeller and them were sitting in there jacking fucking DMT into their veins in the Bilderberg. Have you ever heard anything more ridiculous in your whole fucking life? And that the elite want us to have DMT. And he's saying that the Bible says not to do DMT. I'd like to see that passage, because I've spent a lot of time on the Bible in my research, and I've just constantly missed that part where it says in the Bible that you're not supposed to do DMT. I missed that whole part. Because, Mr. Jones, who prides himself on, we got the documents, folks, we got ABC News, we got Chicago Tribune, folks, we got it all right here. We can back it up with everything we say here, right, with our mainstream news, folks. Well, obviously, Mr. Mainstream News, you must have missed that article that came out in 2008 from ABC News, where they determined, beyond any shadow of a doubt, ABC News admitted this, that Moses, drum roll, please. Moses
was on ayahuasca, DMT, motherfucker. Yeah, he was talking to my bitch ass. That's when I told him about them 10 commandments. Yeah, it was fun. Me and Moses was smoking that shit up on Mount Sinai in the burning bush, dog. You feel me?
Yeah. Well, that seriously, they admitted that, Moses was fucking tripping balls, dude. DMT. But this clip is just pure solid liquid gold. Lee Rogers has got it up on roguegovernment.com. It's under more proof of Alex Jones' insanity. I'll drop it in the chat room for you. It's just gold. But let me get to the point. Let me tell you how he proves here that he's a Vatican stooge, like I've been saying, and other people have been saying out there, and more people are now saying for a very long time. In that video, aforementioned video of mine that I made, the pineal gland film, Reality of Illusion series, part 1, there is a picture in there of a statue outside of the Vatican. That statue, of course, is of a closed, green, unopened, unmatured pine cone with 2 peacocks standing next to it. Now, the peacock is a very, very interesting symbol of the Illuminati, because it symbolizes rebirth, immortality, the transmigration of souls, all things that relate to what we know about dimethyltryptamine, DMT. Now, what that green pine cone symbolizes is the unopened third eye, the unopened pineal gland. It's not matured, it's not enlightened, it's not opened, and that's exactly what they want. Somehow, the key to their immortality is keeping our pineal glands closed and our pine cones unmatured, not allowing the DMT to release. That is what is keeping us from seeing the real truth. And here is Alex Jones telling you, don't do DMT, don't do it, blah, blah, blah. They want you to do it. The elite wants you. If they wanted you to do it, it wouldn't be probably the most illegal drug on the face of the planet. He also fails to tell you in the video that DMT is found in almost every single living thing on this planet. In fact, it's not where DMT is found, it's where it isn't found. It's found in almost everything. So, he doesn't mention that at all. He doesn't mention the clinical studies, the actual legitimate scientific research on dimethyltryptamine. He just makes a bunch of blanket generalizations. He just makes a bunch of claims that aren't true. They're They're jacking it into their veins at Bilderberg Room, folks. Now, he does say in there that, they're using this stuff to communicate with fourth dimensional entities and, they're taking orders from these guys. Well, that's absolutely true. That part he did get right. But, my God, when you see that picture of that pine cone outside of the Vatican, and you realize that symbolizes the third eye, the unmatured pineal gland that can't release DMT, and you hear Jones and see all his Vatican connections. I mean, again, how much proof do you need? He leaves out St. John of Nepomuk in his Bohemian Grove film. The most glaring omission you can imagine. Now ask yourself, how come they have a statue of a Jesuit martyr in the Bohemian Grove, and Alex Jones didn't cover that? And you look at all the Jesuit connection he has with the Sheens and Hutton Gibson, Mel Gibson's father, who's a former Jesuit priest. Alex Jones has had him on before. He said he's friends with the family. The head of the John Birch Society, who he's had on, McManus. All the heads of the John Birch Society have been Jesuit trained. Alex Jones worked for Pat Buchanan's campaign. Pat Buchanan in the Secret Right Volume 1, you hear Peter Jennings say that Buchanan said that the Jesuits taught him how to think, and he was Jesuit trained. I mean, on and on and on. The guy is connected to the priest class 18 ways to Sunday. And that's why he says, folks, I don't talk about extraterrestrials. I don't talk about that. He is telling you, don't do DMT. Don't have a spiritual experience. That's not the Christian thing to do. Don't open your third eye. Don't expand your consciousness. That's what the elite want you to do. Horse shit. This guy is a fucking liar. And we knew that already, but my God, this to me just really, really sends it home, because we have the evidence proving that everything he's saying isn't correct. And that picture we have in the Reality of Illusion film, to me, is a big, big, big thing that I hope a lot of people send around to Alex Jones fans and say, hey, look at this. I think I'm going to cut that together and show that, because I think people need to see it. Have you guys, there's this UFO video going around. These three different cameras shot these UFOs, one above the BBC building. Very insane video. A lot of people are saying it's fake. I just wonder, my thing about it is why they chose to, if they're going to fake this, why at every different angle that they had, there's these UFO things are around chemtrails. That's what just seemed odd to me. And I know people, and I've seen stuff like this when I've looked at chemtrails before. I've seen little balls of light and orbs darting in around it. But there are people saying this is a fake and this is a hoax. I got to tell you, I've seen a lot of these hoax videos, and this one, if it is fake, they did an excellent job, because it's a lot more. I mean, it looks a lot more legit than most of the UFO videos we've seen at this time. But my thing about it is this could be another case of cognitive dissonance. Before they put out videos and they intentionally make them fake so that when we see real stuff, we think it's fake, and vice versa. So it very well could be propaganda. This thing is fake, and this very well could be real. I just fail to think that it's fake when these things are flying in and out of chemtrails. You can clearly see in all three videos, and I put a link to it in the chat room, that these things are flying in and out of chemtrails. If UFOs are real, this is from the Daily Mail, by the way. If UFOs are real and trying to get our attention, perhaps they are getting a little more savvy about the way we humans work. A new video has emerged purporting to show a mothership and its fleet zipping around in the clouds above a BBC building in West London. Perhaps the group of intergalactic travelers was hoping for some coverage from Auntie. Instead, they were caught by a camera by a passerby, and at least one other person who can be seen filming or taking pictures on his camera phone while the video is being filmed. In the video, the cameraman runs towards the corner of Bolsover Street and Chipstone Street, where two other men are already standing gazing skywards, one of whom is using a mobile phone camera. As the camera is pointed upwards over the BBC's Yalding House, three white dots flash across the sky at a great speed in a triangle formation. They are very quickly followed by two similar-sized white dots. As the camera pans down again, two people on the opposite side of the road can be seen watching events unfold above them. The one larger, bright, and more slow-moving disc-shaped white object appears, circles around, and briefly zips off. Some people are saying that this is a viral marketing campaign thing or something like that. They always seem to say that every time some crazy video comes out, and then you never hear about what they claimed it was a viral marketing campaign for. I've seen it happen several times. People go, oh, it was a viral marketing campaign, it was fake. But then you never see the product. You're like, okay, well, what movie was that? And then it never comes out. It's happened a couple of times. So you got to be careful when sometimes people say, oh, it was a viral marketing campaign. Well, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Make sure you don't let it go back. Don't let it go down the memory hole. And you track and find out whatever it is they claim it was a viral marketing campaign for, and trace it all the way to when it releases to the public. Because there's been a couple of videos that have come out through the years, and I've never seen anything else about the things they claim they were viral marketing campaigns for. And we had this asteroid. An asteroid as large as a small house soared within 7,500 miles of Earth yesterday, passing harmlessly over the Atlantic Ocean. The space rock called 2011 MD made a hairpin turn around our planet at 6:14 p.m. GMT, and 3.5 hours later, it predicted to whiz by. And it says here that red-faced astronomers only discovered the asteroid last week. Until then, they thought it was a small piece of space junk. Now, I think that's interesting because up until just last week, they thought that this asteroid was a piece of space junk. And then today, barely 24 hours later, an alleged piece of space junk almost hits the space station. They evacuated. That seems odd, especially with these UFOs and these things. Are they shooting things down? Is that why there's space debris up there? Was that what this alleged asteroid was that came by? I thought it was a piece of space junk, and then, oh no, at the last minute we discovered it's an asteroid. What if it was a ship? What if we blew the fucker up with space-based weapons, and that's what, the pieces started hurtling towards the space station? It very well could be true. That fresh debris up there, if that's what it is, would indicate something was blown up there recently, wouldn't it? An unidentified piece of debris narrowly missed the International Space Station on Tuesday, in a rare incident that forced the 6-member crew to scramble to the rescue craft. The piece of space junk missed the fragile orbiter by just 250 meters, or roughly 820 feet. The Interfax news agency quoted a source in the Russian space industry as saying, the crew has been told that the space debris has missed the station and that they can leave their Soyuz craft. A spokesman at Russian Mission Control outside Moscow said the incident occurred around 4:30 p.m. and that the crew was now working according to their normal schedule. Another Russian space official said by telephone that such incidents have occurred in the past and did not represent an emergency. Well, it just seems odd, the timing, though, doesn't it? And again, this thing where they, we thought it was space junk, and no, then we discovered it was an asteroid. And then right after that goes by, another piece of space junk comes and almost hits the space station. Yeah, I smell dog shit. I smell like somebody stepped in it, and we're looking around to see whose shoes it's on. Yeah. That's definitely what it feels like here. Oh, listen to this. We were talking about the priest class earlier with Jonesy. It's funny. There's several Council for National Policy members that are members of Opus Dei. And Clarence Thomas and who else? Is it Clarence Thomas that's Opus Dei? I don't know. There's several. I think almost all of the Supreme Court justices are all Opus Dei. Like 9 out of 15 or whatever it is. Almost all of them are almost always Opus Dei. If you don't know who they are, look into them. They're a real group. They're not just some Dan Brown concocted horse shit. And they're a dirty priest class, custodial group. Doing the bidding of the custodial masters. That's exactly what they are. That's why they're the purveyors of the phony religion. A French woman claiming to have been brainwashed by the secretive Catholic society Opus Dei is suing it for allegedly keeping her in illegally as a domestic servant, she told the AFP on Tuesday. Catherine T., who asked not to be identified by her family name, said she joined as a hotelier's school in northeastern France in 1985, age 14, which she later discovered was run by associates of Opus Dei. She said she was forced to take vows and made to work as a domestic servant for virtually no pay. Opus Dei responded in a statement that it was not involved in the charges being brought and had nothing to be guilty about. It will be the first ever trial targeting the organization, branded a sect by some, which came to wide attention after featuring in the blockbuster novel and film The Da Vinci Code. Yeah, fictionalize the truth, so the truth seems like fiction, boys, like you always do. Yeah, if we make Opus Dei out to be, this secretive religious group in the movies, then people will go, oh, you just got that from that movie and that Dan Brown book. And then people just think it's fake when it's not. Nice try, assholes. They assigned me a tutor who was actually a kind of conscience instructor. I entered into the system. You were forbidden to talk about it to your parents. She said the group compelled her to take vows of obedience, poverty, and chastity, and for the following 13 years, gave her jobs with organizations that her lawyer, Rudolph Beausoleil, said were linked to Opus Dei. She said she was made to work 14-hour days, 7 days a week, cleaning and serving. Staff paid her a salary and then reclaimed money from her by making her sign bank checks, supposedly to pay her room and board. She added that the staff accompanied her wherever she went, including on visits to the doctor. On these occasions, she was taken to see an Opus Dei doctor who prescribed her tranquilizers that left her senseless. They just kept her drugged up and insane. Yeah, I mean, enslaved and, probably raped her and everything else. I mean, this is what these fuckers do, man. They're sick. They're the sickest of the sick. They don't see... They run around in this cloak of God and Jesus and the Bible and religion, and they are a bunch of killers, cold-blooded, cock-sucking killers. Hiding behind the frock, man. Fucking each other in the ass every chance they get. Bunch of sodomites. Catherine weighed only 86 pounds in 2001 when her parents first rescued her from the group. Lawyers first took legal action that year, alleging mental manipulation, among other charges. A 9-year investigation followed. 2 Opus Dei leaders are now summoned to appear in a Paris criminal court on September 22nd and 23rd on labor law charges of undignified punishment and not declaring her as an employee, lawyers said. The lawsuit also targets the University of Technical Culture Association, which ran the school, and said it had nothing more than a cultural link with Opus Dei. And, they're trying to claim that they didn't do anything wrong and it never even happened. Insane. Are you guys seeing this? I mean, my goodness. They are ramping this UFO alien thing up. I think we're going to see something big real soon on the whole extraterrestrial alien front, whether real or promulgated, as Kissinger said. Because don't forget, Henry Kissinger said it doesn't matter. You're familiar with that quote, right? Yeah, Henry Kissinger said that if the world knew of a threat from extraterrestrials, and this is the key part, he says, if the world knew that there was a threat from extraterrestrials, either real or promulgated, meaning either real or fake, no matter which one it was, they would go running with open arms into the New World Order. So it looks as if, whether or not it's the admission of things that they already know, whether it's fake, I think it's going to be admissions of shit that they've already known for years is what I think it's going to be. Russian scientists expect humanity to encounter alien civilizations within the next 2 decades. A top Russian astronomer predicted on Monday the genesis of life is as inevitable as the formation of atoms. Life exists on other planets and we will find it within 20 years. I was talking to Herbal Mistress in the chat room tonight. No, she wasn't aware of some of this information. I was telling her about some of this information. She asked about the moon landings, and why would they go through all that trouble to fake it if they have the technology to get there? Well, we haven't had the technology to get there that we know of. We don't have the technology to get out of the etherical barrier around the Earth. The knowledge of this etherical barrier around the Earth goes back to the most ancient people on this planet. Allegedly, there's an etherical barrier, what we know as the Van Allen radiation belts, that were put around the Earth by the Anunnaki in order to keep the Nephilim and all of their further offspring from ever leaving Earth. And this is why the whole moon thing was such a hoax. And they certainly weren't going to show astronauts going through the Van Allen radiation belts on camera and burning up. But then to admit that there's an etherical barrier that we can't break out of means they have to admit a whole bunch of other stuff they know. Now, then it's going to be, okay, well, then how do you know that? Well, the knowledge of that goes back to ancient natives, Native Americans, Native Indians, natives all over the place, all over the whole planet have known about this. The great web in the sky. They knew about it back in the Sumerian days. One of the things that John Dee was told in these channeling sessions from the oversouls, the macrobes, he was told about this etherical barrier. He was asking on behalf of the Queen of England, these entities, fourth dimensional entities, he was asking them how the British Empire could expand itself beyond just England. How could it expand itself beyond Earth? Even then, the Crown was thinking, hey, we could go set up shop on some other planet, So on behalf of the Queen of England, John Dee is told by these macrobes that we have to mine the Earth for resources to find an element called silicone so we can create machines that will allow us to break free of the etherical barrier wrapping itself around the Earth. Now, I've got a theory about that. Now, what's interesting is that, can you imagine John Dee in the 15th, 16th century, going up to the Queen of England talking about, microchips? I mean, the context of that, I mean, you just think about that. He was told about microchips and silicone and all this stuff hundreds of years before we ever knew about that. And it was all written down. So that knowledge of this etherical barrier has been there. And my theory is that this is what has been causing the depletion of our of Earth's magnetic field and of our own atmosphere. I think these fucking guys have been trying to mess with the Van Allen radiation belts and try to break this barrier so they can get out beyond the Earth. And I think it has some kind of fail-safe built into it to where when it's messed with, it starts causing changes in Earth's atmosphere and basically starts to kill our planet if it's messed with. And this is what the phony global warming stuff has been about, and all the rest of it. And that's, I think, also why they've been putting so much concentration on Stargates and CERN and the God particle. Because if they can't break free of the Earth and they can't get out of the Earth in ships, what's the next logical thing that they're probably going to try to do? Well, create a Stargate, create a wormhole, just like the Norway Spiral. Using CERN to do that, where they can jump from Earth to another location and then back, thus defeating the need to break free of the etherical barrier around the Earth. I think this explains why all these supercomputers have been being built. I think it explains all of this stuff, the quest for resources. They're trying to find a way to basically get off the planet for a period of time. There's been a lot of people who said that they have been doing that. That chick that was it Laura Eisenhower or something like that? It's just, look, I mean, you guys got to have to, you're going to have to realize, man, that you got to open your mind up. You can't have your mind closed to this, any of this stuff anymore. You got to open, it's fucking crazier, guys, than you can ever imagine. The reality of what we face is so much bigger than just the New World Order, and that's just their control system. We are dealing with interdimensional entities who are tricking people. They're communicating with us left and right now. They're sending us hardcore mess. Something is. I don't know whether it's good or bad, but there is something that is attempting to communicate with mankind on a large scale right now. And this is why you got Alex Jonesy saying, don't do DMT, don't do psychedelics and all this stuff, saying that on behalf of his priest class controllers. Because, if everybody was to go out and do a high dose of mescaline right now, or a high dose of LSD, or a high dose of DMT or something like that, I think you're probably going to have a spiritual experience where you're going to come back and say something communicated with you. And, I mean, there are people that, I hear people all the time saying, that they hear, the entities, they're channeling entities and all this stuff. Well, the elite are doing this too. I just find it very, very suspect that they would have Alex Jones trying to tell people not to have, not to do it. I'm not necessarily going to tell you to do it either, but I'm not going to tell you not to do it. Because who am I to tell you to do or not do anything? Who's Alex Jones to tell you not to do DMT or whatever else? Fuck him. I'm not telling you to do it either, but my God, you should be able to make that decision on your own whether you want to do it or not. You're going to not do it because Alex Jones says not to do it? That's not a reason not to do it. Fuck that. What a blowhard. And we've got Los Alamos Nuclear Laboratory has got fire heading towards it. We've got the stuff that's going down in Nebraska they're still covering up. They've got the Little League World Series. Tracy had made me aware of that. They're about to have up there in that area. Oh, that's great. Brings in all these people from all over the place. It's just like, you ever seen Jaws? The first Jaws? Remember when the mayor, whoever it is of the island, won't shut down the island for the summer because even if there is a shark, even if he knows it's killed people, even he knows it's out there, he won't shut it down because it's too much money they're going to lose if he shuts it down? Well, that's the same thing here. They're going to lose too much money if there's from the Little League World Series up there that comes in those little podunk towns up there. They're going to lose so much money if they have to cancel that because of these floods and the nuclear fallout. So they're not going to do that. So they're just going to cover it up. Then if something happens and there's a bunch of people from out of town, then the death toll goes up. And boy, that's even better for them. See how they do this? Sick motherfuckers, man. Egyptian and Japanese archaeologists on Thursday began to unearth an ancient boat belonging to King Khufu and buried near the Giza pyramids for more than 4,500 years. Now, this is interesting because they found that Khufu, those chambers in the Great Pyramid that related to the dynasty of Khufu right before all the civil war broke out there in Egypt. A mission from Japan's Waseda University, the Japanese Institute of the Solar Boat, and Egypt's Antiquities Ministry have been preparing to lift the boat from its underground pit for the last 2 years. The project is one of the most important archaeological projects, Antiquities Minister of State Zahi Hawass told reporters at the site. It is one of 2 boats belonging to King Khufu, or Chiapas, a 4th dynasty ruler who built the Great Pyramid of Giza. Solar boats were buried with the pharaohs in the belief that they would carry them to the afterlife. The boat was first discovered in 1987 in a large pit covered by 41 limestone blocks weighing 16 tons each. Yeah, the boat is, from what I understand, aren't those supposed to be like, the boat is actually supposed to represent like a ship, a flying ship, like a UFO or something? Isn't that what people believe? On Thursday, scientists lifted the first stone slab and are expected to remove parts of the wooden boat for restoration and reassembly. The finished boat will be exhibited at the Giza Plateau along with its sister vessel, which went on display in 1982. Following 13 years of reconstruction, Hawass said that he hoped that the project would give a much-needed boost to the country's vital tourism industry, which was paralyzed by the uprising that toppled President Hosni Mubarak and has been struggling to recover ever since. Yeah, Hawass needs a paycheck, so he's going to allow some of his the antiquities, that he controls to come out, so they'll try and get more. That's another thing. You'll start to see more revelation, so they can drive up tourism. That's for sure. And they've been sending these cameras in everywhere. We've talked about they've sent them in Egypt. They've sent them down in South America and some of the old Aztec stuff in Mexico. Now it seems they've sent them into Mayan pyramids as well. A tiny remote-control camera has been lowered into an early Mayan tomb that has been sealed for 1,500 years. Extraordinary footage of the tomb at the Palenque archaeological site in southern Mexico revealed an apparently intact funeral chamber with red frescoes, pottery, and pieces of a funerary shroud made of jade and mother of pearl. It also showed a series of 9 figures depicted in black on a vivid blood-red black background. 9 figures in black on a vivid blood-red background. 9 figures. Well, they don't have a very good picture of it. But there you go. I'll drop it in the chat room. That's a picture of one of the entities. Yep. Look at that. I mean, there's like a UFO there on the left. On the top above it, look at that. It looks like an Anunnaki or some sort of space space god or something. Look at that. So they find inside this tomb depictions of 9 alien gods inside. This is huge. And I guess being at, Palenque, well, hello. Palenque was built by extraterrestrials. There's just no question. Oh, there are more pictures? Hold on. No, they're not as good. The National Institute of Anthropology and History said archaeologists have known about the tomb since 1999, but have been unable to enter it because the pyramid standing above it is unstable, and breaking into the chamber could damage the murals. It said the floor appears to be covered with detritus, and it is not immediately evident in the footage if the tomb contains recognizable remains. But archaeologist Martha Cuevas said the jade and shell fragments seen in the video are part of a funerary costume. The chamber was found in a heavily deteriorated pyramid complex known as the Southern Acropolis, in a jungle-covered area of Palenque not far from the Temple of Inscriptions, where the tomb of a later ruler, Pakal, was found in the 1950s. While Pakal's tomb featured a famous and heavily carved sarcophagus, no such structure is seen in the footage of the tomb released yesterday. The Institute said in a statement that it is very probable that the fragmented bones are lying directly on the stones of the floor, but Dr. Cuevas said that the discovery shed a new light on earlier rulers, and its proximity to other burial sites suggested the tomb may be part of a funerary complex. All this leads us to consider that the Southern Acropolis was used as a royal necropolis during that period, she said. So this is just absolutely amazing, and it looks like they have found, more evidence of, these sky gods and these alien gods being depicted in the graves, as if, this is where you're returning. This is where you began. This is where you end. You're going back to, to the sky gods. Highly, highly interesting stuff there. But that pretty much does it for the news. We've been going here for almost an hour or so. I'll tell you what, we're going to take a break and come back. And when we get back from the break, we will read a few listener emails. If you want to get one in for me to read before we come back from the break, globalrealityshow@gmail.com is my email address. And then we'll read a bit from the Lost Book of Enki, as we've been reading from tonight. So definitely stick around. This is the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Stay with us. Oh, yeah, back here with you on the Global Reality right here on the Global Reality Radio Network. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thanks for being with us here tonight for another Moonbat edition of the broadcast. I hope you're doing well, and we are going to continue on here tonight with the broadcast. My website is www.theglobalreality.com. That's www.theglobalreality.com. And again, which has been abysmal financial support over the past couple of weeks, folks. Unable to get my work done if we don't have our financial support that we need. Please use the chip-in banner there. We have to meet that goal by Friday so we can pay the bills for the month. And so please use that. If you want to make a larger donation to help us have a war chest, use the donate button or my direct PayPal email address, dayglow76@yahoo.com. And we need support now. This is the worst we've had support. Least amount of support we've had in 2 years now. For 2 years straight, we've been doing really well and haven't really been hurting. And just the past month or so, ever since I had a couple of weeks off because of stuff I had to deal with my family, it seemed like that pissed people off. How dare you have 2 family members die and not do shows, you cocksucker? And it wasn't too far off some of the emails I got about that kind of stuff. Here's an email. This is from someone named Laura. And she says, sorry this is late. My condolences to you, your family, and friends for your dad and uncle. Well, thank you, Laura. I appreciate that very much. I heard on your show that you had some scum write you asking why you hadn't done a show, etc. I am not surprised by this. Yeah, I guess I was surprised by it. Very surprised by it. Very surprised by it. Very surprised by the lack of support. No, I don't know. It just a lot of people kind of treated me like that. To be honest with you, a lot of people I know have acted like that too. Like they don't care and they don't even want to bring it up, say anything to me about it. Not even say they're sorry or ask me how I am. Nothing. I haven't had anybody do that. I really don't have anybody I can even talk to about this kind of stuff. It sucks. This is how some in society are when it comes to having deaths in the family or any other kind of trauma. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear evil crap like get over it and move on. These are the ones that pride themselves on not caring and being very hard-hearted. They are also very close-minded when it comes to things like grief and recovery from it, etc. I hope you're doing okay. I'm one of your Dallas listeners, by the way. Well, right on. Well, should come out and see a Demigod show sometime. And come out and say hi and watch the band. Give your show information out to anyone who shows any interest in learning about the stuff I listen to and or the U.S. government who want to avoid mainstream news, etc. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Please continue to tell people about it. Yeah. Also, to ex-Alex Jones fan, I haven't listened to him in ages, and it feels wonderful. It sure does. Take care, Laura. Well, thank you, Laura, and appreciate your kind words there. This is from Rita. Rita says, I just found you on the net. How did I miss you all this time? Well, you'd be surprised. A lot of people have missed me. But I've been out here chugging away for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in September. I just read The Gods of Eden last week by William Bramley. I'm listening to you read it again today. Have you read The Grandest Deception by Dr. Jack Pruitt? It's even more disturbing than Gods of Eden. Would love to hear your viewpoint. Okay, well, I'll check that out. And if I think it's quality enough to read on air, I'll read it on air. I'll just have to check it out and see. But I've never heard of that book, and I will definitely check it out. So thank you, Rita, there. And so I think that's all the emails we have tonight. So thank you, everybody. You can always send me an email anytime, globalrealityshow@gmail.com. That's globalrealityshow@gmail.com. We're going to continue reading here from the Lost Book of Enki. Trying to find where I left off. I just had it. How could this fucking page change when I haven't even been on the page? I had it set right to where we were at. Here it is. All right, now I got to back to where I just scrolled up a little bit. Now this is the account of the judging of Alalu and of the happenings thereafter on earth and on Lamu. In his reed hut, Anu was hurting. In the reed hut, to him, Enki applied healing. In his reed hut, Alalu was sitting. Spittle he spat from his mouth. So he's sitting there like, spitting shit everywhere. In his innards, the malehood of Anu was like a burden. Ugh, that sounds gross. In his innards, the malehood of Anu was like a burden. He had the malehood of Anu inside of him. With Anu's semen were his innards impregnated, like a female in travail his belly grew. A dude got pregnant like Arnold Schwarzenegger from Anu, like the god of the Anunnakis. Oh, God, I'm sorry, dude. I feel for you. I mean, maybe you should, keep the back door closed more often. I don't know. Ugh. This is some sick stuff in here. On the third day, Anu's pain subsided. His pride was greatly hurting. To Nibiru, I wish to return. Yeah, get me out of here with these ass fuckers, please. To his two sons did Anu say, beforehand upon Alalu, there must be a judgment, a sentence, the crime befitting must be imposed. By the laws of Nibiru, 7 judges were required, the highest rank of them to preside. In the square of Eridu, the heroes were assembled. The trial of Alalu they were observing. For the 7 who judged, 7 seats were provided. And they provided the tallest seat of all to Anu. Yeah, because he's a fucking giant, right? To his right was seated Enki. On his left, on the left of Anu, was seated Enlil. On Enki's right, Anzu and Nungal were seated. Abgal, and Alagar to the left of Enlil sat. Before these 7 who judge Alalu was brought, his hands and feet were united. Enlil was first to speak. In fairness, a wrestling match was held. Alalu, the kingship to Anu, was forfeited. What say you, Alalu? Enki asked him. In fairness, the wrestling match was held. The kingship I forfeited, Alalu said. Having been vanished, Alalu, an abominable crime performed. He bit the malehood, the cock of Anu, and swallowed it. I'm not making this up. It literally says this. So he did a Mike Tyson on him, only he didn't go for the ear. He went right to the cack and bit the fucker off and swallowed it. You heard that about, like, what was it? The Isis, Osiris, Horus thing, Like Set cut off the penis of Horus or something like that and fed it to this fish. I mean, what was up with these guys? I'll make sure that fucker never comes back. Cut his cock off. Feed it to a fish. Jesus. Thus, Enlil made an accusation of the crime. Death is the punishment, Enlil said. What do you say, Alalu? Enki, his father by marriage, asked. There was silence. Alalu did not answer the question. We all witnessed the crime. Alagar was saying judgment must be in accordance. If words you wish to utter, speak before the judging, Enki to Alalu said. In the silence, Alalu slowly began to speak. On Nibiru, I was king. By right of succession, I was reigning. Anu was my cupbearer. The princes he aroused. So he turned on the males, the princes. To a wrestling match, he challenged me. For 9 counted orbits, I was king on Nibiru. To my seed, kingship belonged. On my throne sat Anu himself. To escape death, I made a dangerous journey to the distant earth. For the salvation of Nibiru, I, Alalu, discovered the alien planet. Return to Nibiru I was promised, in fairness the throne to regain. Then to earth came Ea, the one by compromise, the next to reign Nibiru he was designated. Then came Enlil, the succession from Anu to himself he claimed. Then Anu came, and he tricked Ea a lot, and Enki, the lord of the earth, he was proclaimed. Of earth, not Nibiru, to be the master. Saying, this is your domain. That's why Ea, earth, is called earth. It's the realm of Ea. That's what it means. Nobody ever thinks of where that term comes from or why we call the earth, earth. It's the realm of Ea. The first 2 letters of earth are Ea. Ea. Hello? If that's not enough to bitch slap you out of your comatose state, I don't know what is. And just people go through their everyday lives never even knowing that fact or even, questioning it. But it's a fact. Of earth, not Nibiru, to be the master. Then to Enlil, the command of earth was granted. Enki was delegated to the distant Abzu. My heart of all that was aching, my chest from shame and anger was bursting. Then Anu placed his foot upon my chest and it began to tread upon my aching heart. In the silence, Anu spoke up. By royal seed and law, by fair wrestling, did I gain the throne. My malehood you bit off and swallowed. My offspring line to discontinue. Enlil spoke up. To the crime the accused admitted, let the judgment come. Let the punishment be death. Death, said Alagar. Death, said Abgal. Death, said Nungal. Death to Alalu by itself will be coming. What he had swallowed in his innards, death will bring. Enki said, let Alalu rest of his days on earth be imprisoned. Anzu was saying that their words Anu was contemplated. Anger and pity engulfed both of them. To die in exile Let this be his judgment, Anu was saying. So in other words, banish him to earth. And that would tie into the whole thing we were talking about earlier. That's they banished Alalu to earth and then created the etherical barrier the Valent radiation belts around him here. At least that's how I understand it. Very interesting. We'll see if this indeed tells us that. That's what I understand, though. In amazement, the judges at each other glanced. What Anu was saying that they wondered. Neither on earth nor on Nibiru shall the exiling be, Anu was saying. On the way there is the Lamu planet. With waters and an atmosphere it is endowed. Enki as Ea thereon made a pause. Of it as a way station, I have been thinking. That's supposedly supposed to be Mars, I believe. The way station was Mars, from what I understand. Its net force is less than that of Earth forceful, an advantage and wisdom to be considered. In the celestial chariot, Alalu shall be taken. On my departing from Earth, with me he shall make the journey. Around the planet Lamu we shall make the orbit. To Alalu a sky chamber we shall provide. To the planet Lamu in it he will be descended. Alone on a strange planet in exile he shall be. His days to his last himself shall count. Now, this, what did he refer to it as? The sky chamber? Could that possibly be what, this guy found on Mars? Could that be what the face on Mars is? Highly interesting that, they would banish him there, the way station. We know that they referred to the Mars as the way station. Very interesting that we have Cydonia on Mars, which is what ancient Mesopotamia, what is now Iraq, used to be called. Iraq, Cydonia, Mesopotamia, it's located on the 33rd degree parallel on Earth. Cydonia on Mars is also located on the 33rd degree parallel, and that's where these pyramids on Mars are also located. It's very likely that that's what that was. Thus did Anu utter the words of judgment. In solemnity, the words were intended. By unanimity, it was a unanimous decision, let's just say that, to impose this judgment upon Alalu. In the presence of the heroes, it was announced. Let Nungal be my pilot to Nibiru. There from chariots bearing heroes again to earth to pilot. Let Anzu join for this journey so that he can take charge of the descent to Lamu. Oh, Lamu will be in charge of the descent down to the planet. So did Anu commandments utter. On the morning they departed, they were ready. All who departed by boat to the chariot were ferried. A place for landings on firm soil you must prepare, Anu to Enlil was saving. How Lamu as a way station to utilize the plans to utilize this you should be making. There were farewells, both joy and sorrow. Limping, Anu was limping when he embarked on his chariot. He had his hands, with his hands he tied Alalu, and then drug him into the chariot, the spacecraft. Then to the heavens the chariot soared up, and the royal visit had ended. They made an orbit around the moon, and Anu was enchanted by the sight of the moon. Toward the red-hued Lamu, which is, again, Mars. They say here it's red-hued. There you go. And they circled around it twice. Lower towards the strange planet they came, mountains, sky high, and tears in the surface they noticed. Where Ea's chariot had once landed, they saw that it was located by a lakeside. Slowed by Lamu net power in the chariot, the sky chamber, they readied. Anzu, its pilot, then unexpected words said to Anu, with Alalu to the firm soil of Lamu I shall descend. With the sky chamber to the chariot to return I wish not. So he's saying he wants to stay down there with him. With Alalu on the strange planet I shall stay. Until he dies I shall protect him. When he dies of his innards poison, As befits a king, him I shall bury. As for me, I shall have made my name. Anzu, they will say, against all odds, to a king in exile, a companion he was. He saw things by others unseen. On a strange planet, he faced unknown things. Anzu, they will to the end of time shall say, has fallen like a hero. There were tears in the eyes of Alalu. There was amazement in the heart of Anu. Your wish shall be honored. To Anzu, Anu said, hereby let a promise by me to you be made. By my raised hand to you I this swear. On the next journey a chariot by Lamu shall circuit and orbit. Its skyship to you shall descend. If alive it shall find you, the master of Lamu you shall be proclaimed. So he's making him the king of Mars here. When a way station on Lamu's shell has been established, its commander you shall be. Anzu bowed his head. So be it. To Anu he said. Into the sky chamber Alalu and Anzu were ushered. With eagle's helmets and fish's suits they were provided. Meaning suits they could fly in space in and suits they could go underwater in. With food and tools they were supplied. From the circling chariot the skyship left and departed. Its descent was what they watched its descent from the ground. Then from view it disappeared and the chariot to Nibiru continued. I lost my place. This thing just scrolls down on me sometimes. Here it is. For 9 years was Alu the king on Nibiru. For 8 years Iridu he commanded. In the 9th Shar, or year, to die in exile on Lamu was his fate. Now this is the account of the return of Anu to Nibiru. So this is a new segment we're starting here, a new part. The account of Anu's return to Nibiru. And how Alalu on Lamu was buried, how Enlil on earth the landing place built. On Nibiru, for Anu, there was a joyous welcome. Anu gave his account to the council and the princes of what had happened. Neither pity nor vengeance from them all he sought. To discuss the tasks ahead of them, he instructed them all. And he outlined a great vision that he had. He assembled a great vision to let the council know about. He wanted to establish way stations from Nibiru to Earth and have all of the sun's family in one kingdom. The first on Lamu to be fashioned, the moon for the plans he also considered, and the other planets or their circling host stations to set up. So he wanted to set up stations on moons on other planets as well. And have a constant caravan of ships just going back and forth between every planet. Sounds smart to me. We will bring the gold from Earth without any interruptions to Nibiru. Perhaps we will find gold elsewhere. So they're saying, we're going to bring all the gold from Earth, and maybe we'll find it on some of these other planets where we have way stations set up as well. The counselors, the princes, the servants, all considered Anu's plans. The salvation of Nibiru they saw in the promise of his plans. Savants and commanders' knowledge of the celestial gods perfected. They added a new kind of rocket ship, so a new technology to their chariots and skyships. So their technology apparently has already evolved at this point of the telling of the story. Heroes were selected for the tasks. I'm guessing heroes. They keep saying heroes. I'm guessing those are like, people of extraordinary strength. And for the task, there was much to learn. The plans were beamed over, I guess, sent by laser fax machine, laser email to Enlil and Enki. And they were told to hurry their preparations on Earth. On Earth, there was much discussion of what had happened and what there is to be done. Enki Alligar to be of Eridu, the overseer, made his own steps to the Abzu he directed. Where to obtain gold from the earth's bowels he then determined. What heroes to the task are needed, he calculated. What tools will be required? An earth splitter with cleverness, Inky designed. An earth splitter, something that would open up the earth. There within the earth to make a gash and reach its innards by way of tunnels. Could this be where these ancient underground tunnels that have been found under the earth, found in places like Dallas when they first built the city sewer system here? They found tunnels that were older than there had been people here, laser etched tunnels under the city of Dallas. Found these little green creatures in there. Yeah. That which crunches and that which crushes was the name of the machine. Of other matters, Nibiru savants he had to contemplate. So of matters in health and well-being of heroes, he needed to listen. To the heroes, Earth's quick circuits were upsetting. Yeah, they were not happy about the quick orbit because, they're getting older faster. So they're trying to mine this gold, and they're getting older much quicker than they would on their planet, so they can't get the job done. And that's what led to the creation of mankind as a slave race. Earth's quick day and night cycles were causing dizziness to the heroes. The atmosphere, though good, was lacking in some things and too abundant in other things. Of the sameness of the food, the heroes were complaining. We eat the same thing all the time. Oh, we eat fucking chicken. Enlil, the commander, was afflicted from the heat of the sun on Earth. For coolness and shade, he was longing. While in the Abzu, Enki was making preparations. Enlil in his skyship was surveying the extent of Eden. Of the Eden, E-D-I-N. That's the place where they were setting up Eden. E-D-I-N. What later became what we know in biblical terms as Eden. See? Of mountains and rivers he took account. Of valleys and plains he measured. He wanted to establish in Eden a landing place for the rocket ships. So the rocket ships that landed Earth landed in a place called Eden. Give me a fucking break sandwich. God damn. Enlil, by the heat of the sun, was afflicted and was searching more for a coolness and a place of shade. To the snow-covered mountains of the Eden's north side, he took a liking. The tallest trees he ever saw grew there in a cedar forest. There above a mountain valley with power beams, he flattened the surface. Is that what the tops of the mountains in Brazil, where the Nazca lines are at? Where the whole tops of the mountains are just sheared off as if by a laser? Is that what he did? Flattening the surface of this mountain valley? Very well could be. Great stones from the hillside the heroes quarried and cut to size. To uphold the platform with skyships, they carried and placed them there with satisfaction. Enlil was satisfied with the handiwork. A work beyond belief, indeed it was, a structure of everlasting. An abode for himself on the crest of a mountain was his desire. Of the tall trees in the cedar forest, long beams were prepared. Of them, the construction of an abode for himself he decreed. The abode of the North Crest, he named it. On Nibiru, a new celestial chariot was soaring off for preparation. New kinds of rocket ships, skyships, and that which Enki had designed was transporting people. A fresh group of 50 from Nibiru was taking. Chosen females were among them. By Ninmah, exalted lady, were they commanded. In succor and healing they were trained. Ninmah, exalted lady, a daughter of Anu she was, a half-sister, not a full sister of Enki and Enlil she was. She was greatly learned in the treating of ailments. She excelled in that. To the complaints from earth she gave much attention. A healing she prepared. The course of prior chariots on tablets of destinies were recorded. And Nungal did follow its pilots. Unharmed, it reached the celestial god Lamu. It circled the planet, slowly to its surface descended. A faint beaming group of heroes followed. Ninmah was going with them. They found Anzu beside a lake shore, with signals beaming from his helmet. Anzu himself was without motion, prostrate. He lay dead. Ninmah touched his face. To his heart she gave attention. From her pouch she took out the pulsar. Upon Anzu's heart pulsing she directed. From her pouch she took out the emitter, its crystals, life-giving emissions on his body she directed. 60 times did Ninmah direct the pulsar. 60 times did the emitter. So this is some sort of crystal that puts out a frequency, and I guess after 60 pulses of the frequency, it brings an organic life form back to life. These guys have the technology to bring people back to life. Well, no wonder they don't want us to get our hands on this alien technology. There you go. Because, boy, it would suck if we were able to just go over to flash a crystal in front of somebody's heart 60 times and make them come back to life, isn't it? That would just suck for this planet. Man. On the 60th time, Anzu opened his eyes. And he began to talk. Gently upon his face, Ninmah poured the water of life and wetted his lips with it. Gentle into his mouth, she placed the food of life. Then the miracle happened. Anzu rose from the dead. They inquired to him about Alalu. Anzu told them of Alalu's death. He led them to a great rock protruding heavenward from the plain. There he told them what happened. Alalu, soon after the landing, began to scream from unremitting pain. From his mouth, his innards he was spitting. In agony, he peered over the wall. He's puking his guts out, literally. Thus, Anzu was saying to them, he led them to a great rock, like a mountain from the plain, heavenward uprising. In the great rock, a cave I found. Alalu's corpse therein I hid. Its entrance with stones I covered. So Anzu was saying to them that they followed the rock and they removed the stones and entered the cave. Inside, they found what remained of Alalu. He who once on Nibiru was a king was a pile of bones in a cave now. The first time in our annals, a king not on Nibiru has died. Not on Nibiru was he buried. So, said Ninmah, let him in peace for eternity rest. They then again covered the cave's entrance with stone. The image of Alalu upon the great rock mountain with beams they carved. So, somewhere on Mars, there are probably still evidence of that rock carving done with lasers. Now, some of the rock carvings we've seen on Earth appear to be done with lasers. Stuff we've seen in Egypt, stuff we've seen in South America, all over the place. Samir. So there again, whoever these people are, they had that technology. They showed him wearing an eagle's helmet. Oh, I see what they're saying. Now I get it. Okay. So on top of the great mountain, oh my God, this is on top of the face. The face on Mars is Alalu's face. That's why it's on the 33rd degree parallel in Cydonia, where it just happens to be where Enki set up the landing for Eden. Where was that? The 33rd degree parallel on Earth in Mesopotamia, formerly known as Cydonia, Iraq, who we've bombed and blown the shit out of and taken all their antiquities because they can't allow this info to get out to everybody. And he had a helmet on. And the guy on the face on Mars has what? A helmet. It's unbelievable. That's exactly what it was. It was a helmet. And they're saying right here that they laser etched into this rock on this mountain an image of Alalu wearing a helmet with his face uncovered. My goodness. Let the image of Alalu forever gaze up towards Nibiru, toward Earth, whose gold he discovered. That explains the face on Mars and why they've wanted to cover that up for years. There you go. So Ninmah, exalted lady, in the name of her father Anu, did declare, as for you, Anzu, to you, Anu, the king of his promise, he shall be keeping. 20 heroes with you here shall remain. The way station's building to begin. Rocket ships from Earth, the golden ores, shall here deliver. Celestial chariots from here, the gold to Nibiru, shall then transport. Hundreds of heroes shall make their abode on Lamu, on Mars. You, Anzu, shall be their commander. Thus did the great lady, in the name of her father Anu, to Anzu say, my life I owe to you, great lady. My gratitude to Anu shall not have any limits. From the planet Lamu, the chariot departed toward Earth and continued on its journey. So that's the end of, I guess, the 4th tablet. The next chapter is the synopsis of the 5th tablet. And we'll pick up on that next time on the broadcast. Man, oh man, oh man. Very, very interesting stuff there tonight. The whole thing about I didn't realize that the explanation for the face on Mars was in the Sumerian tablets. I never realized that. That's insane. Learn something new every day, or you should, right? Well, that's great stuff. Well, again, folks, we got to meet our goal for the month, and the Chipping Banner's there, and we just had a business support over the past week or so, and we got to continue. So please help us meet that goal this week. My name is Josh Reeves. I love each and every one of you. We'll see you tomorrow for the broadcast. You guys have a great night. Take care.